Hey, this is Devonte Arrington right here, and I want to talk about what to do when you arrive at the Chinese meetup event. So, by this time, before you even go there, you should have already had a WeChat download. You should already download the app for your Android or for your iPhone. So, you got the WeChat app, and you already have a secret group ready to go. Now, what you're going to want to do depending on your social setting, is it a Mandarin language learning meetup group, is it a Chinese Go group, or is it a Kung Fu group, is it a martial arts group, is it a Thai medicine group, is it a healing group, is it a spiritual conscious awareness group, is it a meditation group, whatever it is. You fit you fit the vibe of the group. You go in, you just talk to people, just being regular, and like what I got in the other video is, you'd want to have a little bit of information of Chinese history. The main thing is, a lot of people go in. So many people are just so thirsty for the listing. They just business, 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 business. But if you've heard what a lot of great people say, is that all deals are done on the golf course. So the idea is that you want to get as personal as possible. You want to be carefree. You want to get into their world. You want to get into their lives. You want them to get into your life. So, having a little bit of Chinese history will be very good for conversation. Talk about Guan Yu. Guan Yu, just say, hey, I'm a big fan of Guan Yu. Even have a picture of Guan Yu in your phone. Get to talking about, hey, I love the drama. I love that TV show Romances of the Three Kingdom. I've read the book. Romances of the Three Kingdom is based off of the Three Kingdoms era in China, to where there was China was in chaos, and it went for three warring kingdoms out of the chaos. It was Wu, Shu, and Wei, and it lasted for a great amount of time. And that story is probably the most famous story in China, was the Three Kingdoms, and the warriors and the officers that came from it. So you can mention Zhang Fei, you can mention Guan Yu, you can mention Lu Bu, you can mention Liu Bei, you can mention Cao Cao. Have some pictures. Have some pictures. Have a picture of Cao Cao and be like, hey, I really like Cao Cao because of this. He was so smart. Mention Zhuge Liang. Zhuge Liang was, the best strategist of the Shu Kingdom, and he was very, very famous for the books and the strategies and tactics that he employed on the field. You can bring up Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Say that you really like that book, Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and talk about that. Go online, spend 5 minutes and just look up Lu Bu, Cao Cao, Cao Pi. Look them up, do a little bit of research. Zhao Yun, Ma Cao. Have these people to talk about, because the Three Kingdoms era is very, very important to the Chinese. They love it. So having information on that is definitely going to put you ahead of the game. So that's just a couple of conversational pieces that you'd like to have. And you can bring up, what are some customs that your parents, if you're talking to maybe a younger person, or or even an older person, what are some customs that your parents or your grandparents had sort of enforced the family values. I was in Orlando speaking to these two younger Chinese women, and about 23 to 25, 26, and excuse me, and pretty much, I'd ask that question, and they're like, oh, well, we have the man on top of the family, and then the woman takes care of the kids, and the man, he's the brave one, he's the strong one. And then they'll have an example like, oh, well, our parents believe, go to school, get a good job, work hard, So how important is school to you? Say, oh yeah, it's very, very important. I go to this school. I'm like, hey, do you have any other family members that are looking to come to America? Do you still have any, kind of throw it out there like that? So what do you do for work? They'll be like, oh well, I currently work part time here and I go to school here, and they ask you, what do you do? Then just be like, yeah, it's not that interesting. Kind of play it off, because the main thing is that a lot of people, like I said, people come in, and they approach and they seem to have an agenda. You don't, obviously you're there to gain their business and gain their love and trust. But, you don't want to, come across as what I like to call a slobbering saber tooth, and that's a little terminology I came up with for essentially, whether it's agents, investors, or brokers, and they're just kind of going for the jugular of a seller's neck or a buyer's neck, and they're all just super, super aggressive and stuff like that. And I realized, throughout my life and my journey, the more nonchalant you are, the better results you actually get. I was dealing with a seller one time, and I'm just like, well, I can provide these services, and he's just like, no, I think I'm going to go ahead and do it off my own. And then I said, hey, well, if you still need my help, I'm right here. I definitely won't be a stranger. Go ahead and take my number down, and I'd love to stay in touch. And then after that, he was just like, you know what? If you're in the Atlanta area, I think we can meet up and have a drink. It'll be a good time, and just totally switch just like that. So, your approach is, if they ask you what you do, are you sure you want to know that? Just, it's really not that interesting, and kind of play it off, be humble, be a little modest, because you don't want to definitely march in there and just say, well, hey, I'm just here for business, so let them know, okay, well, I'm an agent, or, I'm a broker, if they, oh yeah, well, yeah, I sell houses in a few different areas, it's nothing major, nothing much, been doing it for a little while, just play it off, be humble, be cool. And they're like, oh yeah, really? So, we're kind of looking for a house right here. Yeah, you're looking for a house? Yeah, okay. Well, are you on WeChat? Yeah, we're on WeChat. Well, I'd like to take your WeChat down right now, and then go ahead and take their WeChat and be like, hey, I can add you in the group, if you're, looking for houses. And I'd suggest that you probably have two groups. Have one group, and have one group if Markin friends, or Markin Chinese friends, and Markin Chinese connection, or Cynthia Chinese connection. Have one group with your name, and then put Chinese connection. And what you're going to do for that one is you're just going to be, real cool, and you post video, pictures of your kids, be real talkative, just be cool. Just that one's going to be just for your Chinese buyer to know you as a person, right? So that's just going to be for them to know you as a person. Just be cool, because, like I said, you don't want this just to be 100% business. You want them to feel like you're a friend, that you're a long-term friend. Because when it comes to this, like I said, they are going to want to buy more than one house from you if you do them a good service. So definitely have one group, your name, Chinese connection, and post pictures of your family, post pictures of your dogs, your animals, your school, the school you went through. If you go to a restaurant or a Chinese buffet, take a picture of the food and be like, hey, I love this, what do you guys think? And they're gonna comment on it. They'll be like, oh, it looks super yummy, so good, and or ask them what their favorite liquor is. What do they like to drink? And then what you do is you go out one night, and you're either at the bar or the club, or you go to a liquor store, and you buy that bottle that you were talking about. Take a picture of it. It'd be like, hey, just bought this bottle and I was thinking of you. And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's so funny. That's so funny. The funny thing about Chinese people is that, they are, really just humanist. They really love connections. They love to talk. They love to connect. They love the feeling of camaraderie and friendship. and they're very, very polite, and they are very close people. So you can find yourself becoming friends with a Chinese person very, very easily, and I think they're partially because for whatever reason, Chinese people, uh, their culture gets mocked a lot. Like people are like, "Whoa," Jackie Chan and why, or they'll squint their eyes up and they'll do this and they'll make jokes about Chinese people. And Chinese people, they're well aware of that. They unfortunately are probably arguably the most teased, made fun of race. I mean, for various reasons, we could all probably think of, some things right now. And come on, I mean, if you're, dang well that though, that, your race is getting told jokes about, you're aware of the jokes, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for anybody. But so when you have somebody such as yourself that's going to come in there and then is very, very intrigued and very, very motivated to talk about their culture and to know about their culture, then you're definitely going to stand out from the pack. And you're definitely going to stand out from different agents and brokers because they know that you're not just off a listing. You've taken the time to figure out about Chinese history and actually learn about it and actually show that you have great interest, and you're just going to be leagues ahead because of that. So you go ahead, you put them in WeChat, and now go ahead and just get everyone you can on WeChat, and that's relatively going to be some of this video right there is just play it cool, be nonchalant, and everything will just flow into place. Again, Chinese people aren't really too hard to deal with. They're a lot easier than some Americans to deal with. So it just play it cool and just follow the steps, and you'll prosper and you'll go far. This is Devontae Arrington. See you in the next video.